Hi, this is Joan, and I hope that you have had a wonderful Sabbath. I'm recording this on the 7th day of November at 12:15 a.m. Okay, what you're looking at is a still from, well, you can see the title, Videos of the Harder They Fall trailer. So I just watched it yesterday, and admittedly, excuse me, it didn't hold my attention enough where I actually had a clear idea of what they were doing. It was just a bunch of people running around imitating a spaghetti western from the 60s, except they were mostly black people. And I don't know, I was about to just plain forget about it until I saw, heavily flawed individuals, um, synopsis of it and his review of it. And I thought his review was really funny. And I thought, oh, wow, maybe I should actually see what the movie was about. And basically, the only thing I really saw in the movie was that why do they always have to have the love interest as a descendant of a recent descendant of a white person or a non-black person, and the person who is it's not like you consider them homely, but they are nothing compared to the beauty of the non-white person. And why is it black men can never see that that is indirect worship of white men? Because, what makes biracials, if they are half black and half white and their father is white, well, whatever their, excuse me, whatever parent is non-black, you're really looking at their beauty as a product of them having that non-black parent. But for whatever reason, black men can't see that, or don't want to see that, or feel that they would fit in better with the dominant society at this particular time if they don't see it. Now, the reason why I'm talking about black men in this movie is because, it's a black movie. But anyway, it was directed and written by James Samuels. And the screenplay was by Boaz Yakin. Now, this is James Samuel. He is a writer and a producer. And the thing is, when people came at him via, social media and said, well, wait a minute. You have these people, you make a big point of telling people that these people, even though this is fictionalized, the people did actually live. Well, why is it you went and got a biracial woman to play a particular role in this, when actually it was a dark-skinned black woman who was a little older and a little larger than what you usually like to portray. Basically he said that, well, basically it kind of sounded like, well, because I wanted to. And, shoot, yeah, you're absolutely right. You can. But imagine that it's 50, let's say 100 years from now, and things continued as they are to the point where someone wanted to make a movie about you. How would you like it if they picked somebody like the guy who bent on one knee? How would you like it if they got somebody who looked like him and had him play you? I mean, you have a thing about your identity, but it seems like there's a certain amount of empathy lacking, or it's beyond empathy. It's more like, I really don't care if it hurts your feelings. I don't care if you feel like you're not being represented. I'm talking about the way it seems that black men, when they are given positions where they could promote their own race, just simply don't. Because other races seem to feel a certain cohesion that, yes, we are a race, we are male, and we are female. Black men seem to feel like, well, they are a race, and we are for sale. Excuse me. And maybe, not everybody feels like that. Maybe he doesn't even feel like that. I'm just looking at what he's done, and thinking that, that is one possible interpretation. Now, I was just going to make a short video about why couldn't they have Regina King? She's in the movie. Why couldn't they have her play this role? Or have it's another actress, Dead Weiler, who played she was a bouncer, but she looks like she might weigh a good 90 pounds. So that was also but she's dark skinned. And of course, dark skin on a woman gives her extra strength. So my thought, the same way I had the same thought, for the woman, for the woman who played in that movie with Michael B. Jordan, where he was madly in love with that light woman, the biracial woman, and his comrade was the dark-skinned woman. I thought, well, it would be nice if they would switch the roles. And I thought the same thing here. So then, when I was just trying to get information on the movie, this article came up that it was not just me who was looking at this saying, I'm getting real sick of this black movies that black women don't have a part in. I mean, mixed women, biracial women, light-skinned women, any other kind of woman, but a black woman who is, if she took an ancestry test, she's over 55 or 60% black, might not be allowed to be in it. Now, this is the actress who is playing the role of, let me get a picture of who she's supposed to be portraying. Now, this is Stagecoach Mary, and this is the woman that this woman up here is supposed to be portraying. Okay, now the guy, James, said, well, she's who I felt like putting in the cast, and she is biracial. I think I read that her father is white or something, and she is a German actress or something like that. But in any case, now, basically, to keep the aesthetic, I guess, of our current times, he might have said, okay, well, I don't want to get somebody who's a little heavier or a little older. You still could have got somebody who was at least dark-skinned. You could have still gotten somebody who was still black. Not mixed, just black. But like I said, there seems to be this sort of a disconnect where black men cannot quite grasp the concept that if you love someone, because they aren't black, then you're loving white. Then you're fighting against what you say you're fighting about. That is kind of a social schizophrenia. It makes you very difficult to get along with because what you say you want and your actions are not matching. So you say you want subjection. You cannot be in subjection to a tornado because you cannot predict where it's going to go. You don't know what's it trying to do, what's it trying to accomplish. And it seems that whenever you give a black man, or maybe not whenever, but a lot of the times when you give a black man the power to portray an image of his people, he chooses a woman who looks less like a black woman because she isn't. And I don't mean that as an insult, which also to me makes no sense. Why do mixed race and biracial people get upset when you call them mixed or biracial? But on the other hand, if you call them black, they're upset too. It's kind of like they are elastic. They want to be called whatever they want to be called when they want to be called it. And they want you to read their mind and know when you want to call it. But it seems like if one of your parents is black and one of your parents is not black, that is by definition mixed. Like I was looking at this woman, I think her name is Michi, and she was cursing people out, in a way, because they said that she wasn't black. But one of her parents is not black. So you aren't black. You're mixed. I don't understand what's the problem. If you call me black, I'm not upset. I am black. So why would you be upset if someone called you mixed? That's what you are. And she was talking about how if she put that she was white on a census or something or other, that would be considered fraud. I think it should be fraud if you put black. But, that's because we black people are not dominant in this society. And even if we were dominant in this society, if the men were leading, they would just get rid of all the black women and just have all the mixed ones and say, well, you know what, we like it like that. Which is, like I said, pretty much what this guy said when they asked him about it. Let me see if I can find that for you really quickly. Okay, now this is a quote from James in the article, and he says, I wanted this to be a story where I bring all of these characters that really existed and place them in one setting and one time in a fictional story like the Avengers, he explained. Pretty much the whole gang. I wanted to be in this story. I thought, okay, who would be my favorite person in the world to do this role? And then that person ultimately joined the movie. Okay, and that was the biracial actress. Okay, and I am gonna tell you her name because like I said, I don't mean any disrespect to her. Okay, so let's see what else, because people started asking him about this through social media, and his response was, I understand colorism. This is not it, he wrote on social media. This film is plastered with beautiful dark women. I saw two. That's Regina King and the other woman, Deadweiler. And the other one, maybe, like I said, I was only halfway paying attention to this because it seemed like a caricature of 1960s spaghetti western in blackface. But I don't know, I'm going to try to watch it again because I really didn't have much of an idea of what they were doing, except that, I think it kind of turned me off when they showed the biracial actress and she walks in and she's beating a rifle butt on the floor, and then she goes up on stage and she's singing and she goes and she punches out the guy who looks a whole lot like Jay-Z to me. She knocks him out, and he doesn't get up and punch her out the way black men would a regular black woman. And, I do think that that's another reason why I don't think that biracial women are black women, because they are not treated the same. I mean, like, again, Michi, and I saw her on the Dr. Shauna's show or something, but I noticed that biracial women or light-skinned women can go off. They can scream, holler, fuss, curse. They can act so ghetto. Is like you could imagine, you look in the dictionary under ghetto and you'd see their picture. No, you wouldn't. They can act like that and they are still considered ladies. They're still considered classy. But if a black woman says hello, it's all, she's a chicken head. What's she talking about? So they are not black, I think, by DNA, and also by the fact that they are not subject to the same treatment. But anyway, so in the movie, they do a big close-up. It's kind of like they tell you from the camera angles, this is a beautiful woman. Okay? And you contrast it with the other woman. Like I said, she is acting as a bouncer, and they're not supposed to be able to tell this woman is a woman because she is dark-skinned pretty much, because I think even wearing the outfit she was wearing, you still looked at her and thought, what's this little woman doing here being a bouncer? Well, she's dark-skinned, and that, automatically she can do that, according to them. And, there was another black filmmaker from the 30s, Michelou or something like that. And he did pretty much no, he didn't have any dark-skinned women. His whole thing was light-skinned. I mean, if you were darker than a paper bag, you probably weren't going to be in his film. So the thing is, when you give black men power, they just totally don't consider black women worth, I don't know. I think they really don't think that black is beautiful. They don't think that they are beautiful. They want to whitewash their own race. And of course, I'm not talking about everybody, but this guy, James, when you look at him, you would probably think, oh, that's some pro-black kind of person based upon his looks and his hairstyle, basically. But then when you give him the money to do something to affect the image of dark-skinned people like himself, he makes the beauty standard, he supports the beauty standard as being mixed. It's not dark. And even if you watch the movie, Regina King will say something about, yeah, my sister was pretty like you or something. What? I mean, why is your sister light-skinned, number one, but, stuff happens. But why is light automatically beautiful in a black film? Not saying that it isn't beautiful, but if it's a black film, can't black be beautiful? Couldn't we have Deadweiler? And let me show you her, because I think she's very pretty, but they had her playing a role where the guy who looks like Jay-Z, the only time he really acted like she was a woman, or he noticed she was a woman, was when he wanted to rob a bank. So he made her dress up, and she was so clumsy because she's not used to doing anything ladylike. When she put on heels and a dress, she's stumbling up the street, up the stairs and stuff. But that's the only time she was really acknowledged as being female. Now this is Danielle Deadweiler. She played a woman named Cuffy, who was a boxer and who they didn't know was a woman, I think, until they made her pull her clothes off and put a dress on. This is one stupid movie, was kind of what I was thinking right there. Maybe the word isn't stupid. Maybe the word is insulting. Now the biracial woman is Zazie Beetz. Now, it seems to me that this woman should have played the role that Zazie Beetz played, even though she's small. Okay, she would still fit in with that small aesthetic you have now, but at the same time, at least be true to the dark skin of the woman that she was portraying. Now, the woman that the biracial woman was playing was Mary Fields. She was born Mary Fields on a Tennessee plantation in 1832. Stagecoach Mary was a black woman whose unique journey took her from working as a groundskeeper at a local Ohio convent to traveling the expanse of the United States as mail carrier. As the first known black woman to take on the job, Stagecoach Mary gained a reputation for being a no-nonsense professional who took her career seriously, so seriously that her tenacity toward her work spawned legends that spread throughout the Old West. What is it? You can't have somebody portrayed now who was that important. You can't have her portrayed closer to what she actually looked like, which is this. Okay, she did not look at all like this. And I'm not quite sure, well, I guess because she was working in a saloon or something. But anyway, this is Zazie Beetz, and I think that, if anything, it might have been better to have her in the role that Regina King was in, because I was listening to Heavily Flawed Individuals, video, and he was speaking of how he was disappointed in Regina King's accent, and that no Creole woman talks like that. Well, generally, Creoles are known for being of mixed heritage. Wouldn't it have been better to have this person, Zazie Beetz, play the role that Regina King was playing, and let Regina King play the other one? But I think that, again, you cannot have a dark-skinned heroine if there is a mixed woman around. If there is a mixed woman, she has to be the role of the beauty, and she has to be the heroine, and if there's a fight involved, she's got to win it. Now, this is a film written and whatever it was by a black man, but isn't it kind of white supremacist to say that the white always has to win, even in a supposedly black film that's saluting the achievements of black cowboys? Shouldn't it also be black cow women? I don't know. To me, the film was, it was not the worst thing I've ever seen. It was, I don't know. My question keeps going back to the same thing for black women. Should you support people who don't support you, who don't look at you and think, oh, well, that's where I see beauty, who look to men and who look to other people of other races to make their ideal of what is beautiful, who can't think beyond the box. But I also think that probably people who think like that would not be funded. I mean, this is still, like I heard somebody say, some rapper I think, was saying something that I thought made some sense. Stop trying to be rich in another man's kingdom. This is another man's kingdom, and he's probably not going to finance you loving yourself. But just because you can't change something does not mean you can't at least see that it exists. And yeah, I think this film, and pretty much almost all films made by black people, especially if you put black men in the helm, are going to really glorify light-skinned people, women, light-skinned women. And that's just the way it is. What is his name? Mishu? I can't remember for some reason what his name is. I know it's Mishu. I can't remember what his first or last name was. But when he made movies, it was more like everybody was light-skinned. So now, and he was light-skinned. So now they give a darker-skinned man the camera, and he says, okay, I can take men looking like me, but I can't have no women looking like me. I'm going to mix it all up. Well, whatever. There's not really much you can do about that. But like I said, acknowledge that it is what it is. And like I said, I was just thinking I would like to change the casting, and it was amazing to me to see that other people had been complaining about the same thing. And, I'm not even sure it's so much of a complaint as it is just looking at it like, yeah, another day, another dollar. Anyway, I did think it was interesting that they had 2 Virgo men in the lead, even though one of them to me looks a whole lot like Jay-Z. But they might be related, because I do think when you're looking at movies, you're looking at families. You just don't know you are. So this is, as usual, just something to consider, something to think about. And if you have any questions or concerns, just put them in the comments, and please make them make sense, and tell me what you're referencing when you do, because, otherwise I don't know what what are you talking about. But in any case, you guys have a great rest of your day.